The man is a cliched villain. Looks like a villain, talks like a villain.
In what can only be described as the television event of the year, comedy legend Trevor Noah has just delivered an earth-shattering takedown of both tech titan Elon Musk and President Donald Trump that has sent shockwaves through both Silicon Valley and Washington, D.C. Sources close to both powerful men reveal they are absolutely furious after Noah's brutal expose left their reputations in tatters. Trump is raging. An insider from Mar-a-Lago tells us exclusively he's throwing anything he can get his hands on and screaming about Trevor being a talentless hack who should be deported immediately. The staff is terrified to even mention Noah's name within earshot. Meanwhile, at Twitter headquarters, employees report Musk has locked himself in his office for hours after the savage roasting, furiously typing what sources say are unhinged tweets that his PR team is desperately trying to prevent him from posting. Noah, the beloved former host of The Daily Show, pulled absolutely nitrogen monoxide punches during his scorching monologue that has now gone mega viral, with over 50 million views across social media platforms. In just 24 hours, Elon went from being the guy who's like, I don't get involved in politics, to a man who can't stop himself from tweeting conspiracy theories faster than his rockets explode. Noah quipped to thunderous applause. If he's handling Twitter like this, I don't know how comfortable I would be going with this dude to Mars. The audience erupted in laughter as Noah continued his surgical strike against the Tesla founder. I don't want Elon walking into my cabin one day like, hey guys, turns out I accidentally fired the team that was bringing the oxygen, but we'll be fine if we just stop breathing for 69 months. But Noah was just warming up. He then turned his laser-focused wit on President Trump, who was just recently inaugurated for his second term in January, after his controversial 2020 for election victory over Kamala Harris. Donald Trump has exposed a part of America that I'm willing to bet nobody knew existed, Noah declared to a now silent audience hanging on his every word. Trump's not just a cliched villain, he looks like a villain, talks like a villain. The man literally looks like he should be in a Scooby-Doo episode. With that face, the audience was left gasping as Noah continued his relentless assault. His entire administration was one big joke, except it wasn't funny. Every time he opened his mouth, it was like setting off a firework in a crowded room. Loud, obnoxious, and everyone else wondering, is this really happening? Our sources reveal that Musk is particularly devastated by Noah's comments about his handling of Twitter since purchasing the platform in 2022. A senior Twitter executive who wished to remain anonymous told us exclusively that Musk has been pacing his office like a caged animal since the broadcast. One of the first things Elon said when he took over was, comedy is now legal on Twitter. Noah recalled during his scorching routine, he was like, it's time for free speech, time for comedy, time for people to actually have fun on Twitter again. And then what happened? People started changing their Twitter handles to Elon Musk and posting parodies. Suddenly Twitter banned all their accounts and Elon was like, no parodying people. So much for comedy being legal. A Twitter insider tells us that Musk was particularly enraged by this portion of Noah's routine, screaming that it was taken out of context and demanding his legal team look into possible defamation claims against the comedian. Elon spent the day alternating between furious ranting and something resembling a panic attack. Our source whispers, he keeps saying, I'm not like that, I'm trying to save humanity, over and over while obsessively refreshing social media to see what people are saying about him. If you think Musk's reaction was intense, sources say President Trump's response has been apocalyptic. Our Mar-a-Lago insider reveals that Trump has been on an explosive phone calling spree, waking up allies at all hours to rant about Noah's treasonous comments. He's absolutely livid, says our White House source. Trump was up until 4 a.m. calling everyone from his chief of staff to Fox News executives, demanding they destroy Noah in response segments. He even tried calling the head of Comedy Central to get them to issue an apology, despite Noah not even working there anymore. Noah's criticism of Trump's foreign policy choices and his relationships with controversial world leaders like Vladimir Putin and Kim Jong-un seems to have struck a particularly raw nerve. With the president, Trump's foreign policy choices reflect this unhealthy craving for validation, Noah declared during his blistering monologue. His decisions often seem driven by the need for attention from morally compromised leaders, rather than by sound judgment or national interest. Insiders report that Trump has been obsessively watching clips of the routine on repeat, growing more enraged with each viewing. He's allegedly ordered his staff to compile a total history of every comment Noah has ever made about him, with one aide saying Trump is considering all options for retaliation. In perhaps the most devastating portion of his routine, Noah tore into Trump's recent controversial economic policies, particularly focusing on the 10% baseline tariff on imported goods that went into effect on April 5th. The economic disaster that Trump's policies triggered with his ill-fated tariff strategy serves as a stark example of his self-serving agenda, Noah explained to the now silent audience. His approach aimed at revitalizing American manufacturing has only resulted in an economy teetering on the brink of chaos with prices soaring, and everyday Americans paying the price. Financial experts are now weighing in, with many rushing to appear on cable news shows following Noah's comments to confirm that his assessment was remarkably accurate and cuts to the heart of the problem with Trump's economic vision. Trevor Noah just did what most economists have been afraid to say out loud, says Harvard economist Dr. Jennifer Williamson. These tariffs aren't helping American workers, they're creating inflation and instability while Trump's wealthy friends find ways around the rules. Noah exposed the emperor's new clothes in a way that's finally getting attention. Noah's most clever attack may have been exposing the glaring hypocrisy and how both men approach the concept of free speech, something that has reportedly left Musk seething. People will abandon what they say is a principle when things aren't going their way, Noah observed, before recounting how Musk's comedy his legal stance quickly transformed into censorship. When the jokes were directed at him, a former Twitter executive who recently departed the company tells us that this characterization hit Musk right where it hurts because it exposes exactly what employees have been saying internally for years. Elon presents himself as this champion of free expression, but in reality, he's incredibly thin-skinned and vindictive. Our source reveals there's a reason so many people have been fired for disagreeing with him or questioning his decisions. Noah just put a spotlight on what everyone inside the company already knows. Perhaps most devastating of all was Noah's deconstruction of how both powerful men have cultivated personality cults that shield them from criticism. What's truly incredible is how both Musk and Trump, despite their clear flaws, managed to have legions of loyal followers who will defend them till the bitter end. Noah observed during his routine, these two men have convinced people that their every move is brilliant, even when it's painfully obvious it's not. Psychological experts are now weighing in on Noah's observations, with many calling his analysis remarkably insightful and clinically accurate about how personality cults form around powerful, charismatic figures. Trevor Noah just gave a masterclass in how authoritarian personality cults function, says Dr. Malcolm Reynolds, a leading expert in social psychology. Both Trump and Musk have mastered the art of convincing their followers that any criticism is an attack not just on them, but on their followers' identity. It's a sophisticated form of manipulation that Noah exposed brilliantly. This isn't the first time Noah has taken aim at powerful figures, but sources close to the comedian say he feels a special moral obligation to speak out about Musk, and Trump in particular. Trevor sees these two as representing a dangerous convergence of unchecked wealth, power, and influence. A friend of Noah tells us exclusively he believes they're both symptoms of a deeper problem in our society where wealth and fame have become substitutes for competence and character. The source adds that Noah has been meticulously researching both men for months in preparation for this routine, consulting with experts in economics, psychology, and political science to ensure his critique was both funny and factually accurate. Trevor wanted to make people laugh, but he also wanted to make them think, our source explains. He knew this would make powerful enemies, but he believes somebody needs to say what others are afraid to say. Witnesses present during Noah's explosive routine describe an audience that went from uproarious laughter to stunned silence as the gravity of his comments sank in. It was like watching a master surgeon at work, says audience member Rebecca Chen, who was present during the taping. It started with everyone laughing, but by the end, you could hear a pin drop. People were looking at each other like, did he really just say that? Did he just expose the entire system? Multiple audience members report seeing several high-profile celebrities and political figures in attendance who appeared visibly uncomfortable during Noah's routine, particularly when he began discussing the economic implications of Trump's policies. There were definitely some wealthy people in that room who didn't appreciate being called out as enablers, Chen tells us, but most of the audience gave him a standing ovation at the end. It felt like a historic moment in comedy. Noah's comments have ignited a full-blown media frenzy, with cable news networks dedicating hours of coverage to analyzing his routine and its implications. Political commentators from across the spectrum have been weighing in, with many praising Noah's CRH, while others condemn what they call an attack on American success stories. Fox News host Sean Hannity dedicated his entire show to denouncing Noah as an America-hating foreigner who should be grateful to be here, while MSNBC's Joy Reid called the routine the most important piece of political commentary of the decade. Social media platforms have been flooded with reactions, with the hashtags #Noah exposed them and #Trevor Speaks Truth trending globally for over 36 hours. Even celebrities are weighing in, with many listeners publicly supporting Noah while others, with ties to Musk and Trump, remain conspicuously silent. Sources close to both Musk and Trump reveal that their legal teams have been working around the clock to explore possible legal action against Noah, though experts say any such action would face significant challenges. Both men are public figures, and Noah's comments, while harsh, are protected as opinion and satire under the First Amendment. explains constitutional law expert Professor Samantha Rodriguez. Any defamation case would be extremely difficult to win and would only serve to draw more attention to Noah's criticisms. Nevertheless, our sources say both men are demanding action from their attorneys, with Trump reportedly telling his legal team, "I don't care what it takes to make him pay." Musk, meanwhile, has allegedly instructed his lawyers to look into ways of making an example of Noah, with one insider revealing the billionaire is particularly focused on finding ways to financially ruin the comedian. Noah didn't just criticize Trump's presidency, he also took aim at the former president's business practices, describing Trump Tower and Mar-a-Lago as monuments to Trump's obsession with maintaining a grand illusion. Trump's businessman persona was nothing more than a carefully crafted facade, Noah declared during his routine, a show designed to distract from the reality that his real talent wasn't running a successful company or managing a nation, but rather selling himself. Real estate experts are now coming forward to confirm Noah's assessment, with several prominent industry figures stating that Trump's properties have long been more about image than substance and represent style over competent management. Noah just articulated what many in the real estate world have known for decades, says prominent developer Marcus Johnson. Trump's properties were never about excellence in real estate. They were about promoting the Trump brand and creating an illusion of success that could be leveraged for other opportunities. Perhaps the most damaging aspect of Noah's routine for Musk was his questioning of the billionaire's competence to lead humanity to Mars, something sources say has been keeping Musk awake at night since the broadcast. "I don't want Elon walking into my cabin one day like, hey guys, turns out I accidentally fired the team that was bringing the oxygen." Noah joked during his routine, causing the audience to erupt with laughter. Sources at SpaceX reveal that potential investors have been calling with serious concerns following Noah's comments, with several major backers reportedly reconsidering their commitments to Musk's Mars ambitions. Elon is absolutely paranoid that Noah's comments will affect confidence in SpaceX. An insider tells us he's ordered an emergency PR campaign to reassure everyone that he's still the right person to lead humanity to Mars, but internally, there's real worry that Noah's routine could impact funding. Friends close to both Musk and Trump reveal that Noah's comments have taken a serious personal toll on both powerful men, with each reportedly experiencing difficulty sleeping and obsessive behavior since the broadcast. Trump keeps watching the clips over and over, getting more agitated each time, says our Mar-a-Lago source. He's barely eating and keeps asking aides, "Do I really sound like that? Do people really see me that way?" Musk, meanwhile, has reportedly become fixated on social media reactions, with one associate revealing that the billionaire has been personally reading thousands of comments about Noah's routine and becoming increasingly despondent as he realizes how many people agree with Noah's assessment. Elon genuinely sees himself as humanity's savior, our source explains. To have someone like Noah publicly question not just his competence, but his very character, has been absolutely devastating for him. The political implications of Noah's routine are already being felt in Washington, with several Republican lawmakers who previously supported Trump's economic policies now reportedly distancing themselves from the president's tariff strategy. Noah managed to articulate the problems with Trump's economic approach in a way that regular Americans could understand. A senior Republican aide tells us on condition of anonymity. Now we've got constituents calling our office asking if what Noah said is true, and honestly, a lot of it is. It's creating a real headache for Republicans who've been defending these policies. Democratic leaders, meanwhile, are seizing on Noah's comments as vindication of what they've been saying about Trump's economic approach, with several prominent Democrats incorporating clips from Noah's routine into their own speeches and social media posts. Trevor Noah just did more damage to Trump's economic credibility in 10 minutes than Democrats have managed to do in months of policy speeches, admits one Democratic strategist. He cut through all the noise and made people see the reality of these tariffs in a way that's resonating with voters. Perhaps most damaging of all was Noah's deconstruction of how both men have cultivated what he called blind loyalty among their followers, a characterization that sources say has left both Musk and Trump deeply uncomfortable. These two men have convinced people that their every move is brilliant, even when it's painfully obvious it's not, Noah observed. The irony is so thick you could cut it with a knife. Experts in cult psychology are now appearing on news programs to analyze Noah's observations, with many praising his remarkably accurate assessment of how personality cults function in modern society. What Trevor Noah described is exactly how authoritarian personality cults operate, explains Dr. Sophia Mendelsohn, author of Dangerous Charisma, Leaders Who Charm and Harm. He identified the precise psychological mechanisms that allow these men to maintain unwavering support despite behavior that would destroy any other public figure's career. As the world continues to react to Noah's explosive routine, sources close to the comedian reveal he has nitrogen monoxide regrets about taking on two of the most powerful men in America and is already preparing a follow-up special. That promises to be even more revealing. Trevor believes comedy should comfort the afflicted and afflict the comfortable. A friend tells us he saw an opportunity to use humor to expose some uncomfortable truths about power and privilege in America, and he took it. He knew there would be blowback, but he believes it was worth it. Noah himself has remained relatively quiet since the routine went viral, posting only a cryptic message on social media that read, "Sometimes the truth needs a punchline to be heard." Insiders suggest Noah is currently in talks with major streaming platforms for a special that would further explore the themes he touched on in his viral routine, with bidding reportedly reaching 8 figures as services compete for what many are calling the most anticipated comedy special in history. The outpouring of support for Noah has been nothing short of overwhelming, with fans and celebrity supporters alike rallying around the comedian in what many are calling a defining cultural moment. A-list celebrities have been flooding social media with messages of solidarity, with several major Hollywood figures reportedly reaching out to Noah privately to offer their backing and potential collaboration opportunities. Trevor has touched a nerve that many in the entertainment industry have wanted to address, but were too afraid to. A prominent Hollywood agent tells us, now that he's broken the ice, you're seeing this massive wave of support from people who've been waiting for someone to say what he said. Fan clubs dedicated to Noah have reported a massive surge in membership, with one group organizer telling us they've gained over 50,000 new members in the 72 hours since the routine aired. It's unlike anything we've ever seen, the organizer shares. People are calling Trevor a hero, saying he said what they've been thinking for years but didn't have the platform or courage to express. The global impact of Noah's comments cannot be overstated, with international media outlets now picking up the story and translating clips of the routine for audiences worldwide. In Europe, major newspapers have dedicated their front pages to what many are calling the American reckoning, with one German publication labeling Noah's routine a comedic Nuremberg. For the digital age, British tabloids have been particularly enthusiastic in their coverage, with headlines screaming Trevor's Trump takedown and Musk gets marched. International political figures have even begun weighing in, with one prominent European leader reportedly telling aides in private, "Finally, someone has said what we've all been thinking about these 4 years." Despite the overwhelmingly positive reception to Noah's routine, not everyone is celebrating. Supporters of both Musk and Trump have launched a coordinated counteroffensive on social media, with hashtags like #NoahKnows_nothing and #TrevorIsTrash attempting to push back against the comedian's growing influence. Several prominent right-wing commentators have devoted entire segments of their shows to attacking Noah, with one popular podcaster calling him a dangerous subversive who hates American success. However, these efforts appear to be falling flat, with analytics showing the pro-Noah sentiment outpacing the negative by a staggering 15-1 margin. They're fighting a losing battle, explains social media analyst Priya Sharma. The pro-Noah sentiment is just as strong and too widespread. This is what happens when someone articulates something that a huge portion of the population has been feeling but couldn't quite express. The entertainment industry is already feeling the ripple effects of Noah's viral moment, with several prominent comedians reportedly scrapping previously planned material to create new routines that address the themes Noah explored. Everyone's watching Trevor's routine and thinking, "Why didn't I say that?" A veteran comedy club owner tells us, now there's this mad rush to catch up and be part of the conversation he started.